Well, hello everyone. Welcome to a completely original concept for a podcast. My name's Dave, and I'm here with Jeremy. Do you want to say hello, Jeremy?
Hello. I didn't say
Um,
hello, Jeremy. You should be grateful. All right, there you go.
yeah. We decided that. Well, I suggested actually. I think was the
Hmm.
exact sequence of these things.
I
I
think that's how
suggested.
it went.
Yeah, I think I suggested that we're so bad at games that we might want to stop playing games and might want to do something that's more around our skill level, um, which in this case is watching Star Trek, which is which is more
Nobody's
about
done
our
that
speed.
before. Let's face it. Come on. You got to admit,
We
folks.
can't screw this one up, right? Can we? Um,
Yeah.
so now, I mean, for me, I've always I mean, I've grown up with TNG, right? I'm a TNG boy, and I think you are too as well, aren't you, Jeremy?
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, that's the one that I was. Well, I wouldn't say I was. That was my first exposure to Star Trek because I would have seen TOS, the original series, first. But Next Gen was the one that really drew me in. Yeah.
Oh, really? So you've actually seen TOS before?
I've seen episodes here and there. I wouldn't say it was any
Yeah.
kind of consistent viewing. Like it, yeah, I thought it was. I watched it when I was a kid, but TNG was the one that kind of drew me in and made me want to watch it week after week. Whereas, TOS was just kind of like, oh, this is kind of cool, But yeah,
Yeah, for me, I think I've only ever had kind of shared cultural knowledge of the original series. I really didn't, and I haven't actually seen whole episodes of the original series at all. And that's kind of why I suggested that instead of us being awful at playing games, we could run an awful podcast instead that started
yes,
with all the way back to the unaired pilot and watched through all of Star Trek, which we will never complete because that will take a very long time. Although I was looking at our videos. We've been doing videos for like more than 10 years. So
what?
technically,
More than 10 years?
more than
I thought it
more
was
than
like 8, maybe 9.
well,
Good
no,
lord.
no. Well, remember we were certainly recording videos around the same time we went to Japan in 2013.
Yes,
So
yes,
that was
yes.
10 years ago already.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
uncomfortable with this timeline now. Let's move on.
Yeah. Well, yes, I think it's fair to be uncomfortable with the timeline. Um, so we're gonna watch all of Star Trek. But because obviously for copyright reasons we can't actually show you any of it, and we can't even really play its audio because the copyright trolls will come along and say we're stealing stuff. So
Yeah,
what
yeah.
we're going to do is that Jeremy and I are going to watch the episode, and then we're going to talk about it, and that'll be very exciting and interesting for everyone. Um, I hope. Do you think it's going to be exciting and interesting for everyone?
Well, I think some people will enjoy it, and if they don't, they can leave. Thank you.
Yeah, they
And
could stop downloading it.
yeah, yeah, they can stop. They don't have to waste their bandwidth any more than they have to, and then they can go back to watching, you know, let's plays or whatever they like. Actual. I mean, for instance, maybe good Star Trek content. That's fine.
Yeah, there's much
I
better
won't
Star Trek
begrudge them.
content. Yeah,
Maybe
there
watch
is
Picard
much.
season 3 again. You never know. Yep.
Oh, yeah, I suppose we are eventually going to reach New Trek,
Oh
and
goodness, it's going to be some time.
and it is going to be some time. But
I'll be in my 60s. Bloody hell.
I
Yeah.
think I should point out for anyone that is foolish enough to actually listen to all of this from the beginning, in
Hmm.
the hope that when we get to New Trek, we will be gushing wonderfully about how much it is. I really don't like New Trek, so we'll just get that out of the way. I'll just get rid
Well,
of all of our audience right now. Just go.
New trick, more like poo trick.
Yeah, it is,
And
isn't it?
they'll be like, you disgust me. Yep, that's right, folks. We're older. We're not afraid to admit it. No. I did like some of the new trick. I'm going to clarify that. I'm going to be the good cop and say some of the new trick I thought was okay.
Oh no, no, okay. No, I have
Uh,
to be fair. No, there is some that's okay.
Furious
Um,
backpedaling ensues. No.
but yeah, but it didn't start well, and
Mm.
yeah. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is we're going to watch Star Trek The Cage, which is the unaired pilot made in, I think, 1965. I should have had the Wikipedia page up in front of
Ah,
me. I'm
Dave. See, we've
so
already
bad
failed the
at.
first hurdle. Don't even know the year,
I don't even
the
know when it
producer of
aired.
the episode, the date and time it aired first in the US. Ah, I just.
Okay, so it was completed on January the 22nd, 1965. It didn't actually air. Um, well, I know apparently it did air on NBC according to Wikipedia. Really? Well, then it's
So
not
it's
the
an
unaired
aired pilot
pilot.
then.
It's
Oh,
it's not.
this wasn't like some years later after Star Trek became a thing, and they're like, "Oh, look at this, we've got like an
No.
old episode we never aired," and then no,
Okay.
it
No,
literally aired the
no.
same year it was released.
Oh, apparently, yeah. Well, that doesn't make it the unaired pilot. Well, I've been
Oh
led
well,
to
that's
believe. Whatever. Anyway, it
exploding myths on
actually.
this channel, Dave. That's what we're doing. This is you won't see this content anywhere else, folks.
No, you
We're
won't.
blowing the lid off this thing.
Yeah. Apparently, it's actually it didn't really get released, whatever that means. Didn't really get released until 1988. So that would have been actually a little bit after
Oof.
TNG started in 1987.
There
So
you
that
go.
might be why it was then actually released. So
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. It's like, yes, it was released, but it wasn't aired when the series originally, and then, you know, TNG
yeah.
comes along, reinvigorates everybody's interest in things, and, geeks get together and go, "Oi, what about that episode we never saw?" And then, yeah, as is the natural way of
Yeah,
things.
as is the natural way of things. Right, so we're gonna watch The Cage, and we will be back after. I'll have to insert something in here.
Yeah, we're not gonna play white noise over the background.
It's gonna be that damn duck noise, honestly. The duck noise. Yeah, I'll just play
Oh,
that.
I've got my soundboard here. Yeah,
All
here we
right,
go.
stay tuned, folks. We will be watching and we'll be talking all about Star Trek: The Cage right after this.
1978. Wow.
Well, no, it wasn't. It wouldn't have been. They must have
Oh,
cleaned it
I
up
don't
in
know. That's just
'78.
yeah.
Who knows? Well, folks, we've just watched The Cage, the pilot for Star Trek that didn't get aired. What did
Mm-hmm.
we think? What are our initial thoughts of that
Wow.
wonderful hour
Captain
of
Pike's
television?
no good, very bad, horrible day. Uh,
I
he was in a
s-
he was in a bad mood, and he just got worse.
yeah, he was just annoyingly angry the entire episode, and didn't smile at all. And the only person who smiled much throughout the entire episode was Spock, which of course
Yeah,
is hugely wrong. Um, with Spock's weird accent, weird
it
accent.
just
It
looks
was,
weird when he smiles. I know that's a horrible
oh
thing to say,
yeah,
but Spock
no,
shouldn't smile like
Spock
that. I,
Spock
I
should
just
not smile. Okay, it's just wrong. Um, Yeah, it's kind of. I thought it was interesting the Orions got mentioned so early because they're there's a lot of bits of proper Star Trek. That's not very nice to say. There's a lot of canon Star Trek.
the real
That's
stuff, the good stuff, just like they made in the old. Yeah, exactly.
right. So things like I didn't expect the Orions to end up being a thing, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have. Yeah, you've got kind of that lore background, I guess. But the Orions, to me, like, yeah, I mean, they showed up in like the first um New Trek movie as well. I say New Trek movie. Yeah, I mean the one, the J.J. Abrams
Oh,
Star
oh
Trek.
God, we're so far away from watching those. Could we
Oh,
just
I know
not?
we are, but it's just I
Oh,
remember that
yes,
they
yes.
were in that too. So,
Yeah, they were.
very
Um,
briefly, is kind of like the haha, what's Kirk up to now? Kind of.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah.
kind of see why it didn't get aired. It does have that same. It has that same quality that actually the Encounter at Farpoint, the first episode of TNG had, where there's a lot of unnecessary kind of using machines and printouts and there's too much kind of there's too much language. There's too much dialogue to talk about simple things, right?
Over
Um,
explaining and
yeah, radically over explaining in
yeah,
places, right?
yeah. Like the
Um,
whole doctor thing didn't really need to be there necessarily. Like, I'm pretty sure you could have filled in the blanks other ways, but
yeah, I think yeah, which was a weird scene. Like the captain, grumpy ass captain goes to his
just a
room
fuck in his bed.
basically and lies down in his bed. And the doctor turns up and gives him a alcoholic drink. It's all just
Mm,
weird. It's all just a little. It's all just a
mm,
little off.
yeah.
Um, but I did like. I mean, it has got a lot of really classical Star Trek elements to it. You've got weird aliens doing things, and you've got
Yes.
you
Yep.
know soundstage planets, which is very very
Yeah, an
reminiscent of
elaborately
what.
made up, country scene with a couple of horses because they're definitely going to show this on TV when they air it.
that
Hmm,
sound that soundstage, they must have spent so much trying to make the pretty green pastures soundstage rather than just. I guess it was cheaper than actually just taking the crew out to
yeah.
an actual pasture, but
Mm, mm,
um yeah, that was a little strange. That was a little strange, but
yep.
overall, it was surprising how. I mean, things like the transporter takes too long. Although maybe actually we're
Bob
too.
has
I'm
a
too.
weird accent.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Maybe we're too used to TNG kind of transporters, which were a lot faster.
oh
Um,
yeah, yeah,
but
for
I
sure.
think we're about to find out how slow transporters are in the rest of the original series, right?
It's
Um,
true.
because they could be really slow.
Mm,
All right,
mm.
okay. So best bit of the whole episode for you.
Oh, geez. Best bit of the whole episode. Um, I just think it's just hilarious to have the captain basically just being a big salty, sulky man baby for basically the entire episode, and have his behavior rewarded by the fact that the Tellurians, I think they are, um, couldn't, read his mind while he was angry, which suited him down to a T,
Yeah,
because
well, he was real angry all the time, wasn't
he
he?
was just really, not happy with the way things were going in any given situation. He
Oh
was grumpy
God, no,
about,
grumpy.
the big battle he was in, which is fair enough. It sounds like he lost some people and it was pretty rough. And he's grumpy about the yeoman coming on and, getting in his way. And then he's grumpy about the doctor coming to visit him. And then he's grumpy about getting trapped on a planet with a bunch of illusions. It's just,
He was so
yeah.
grumpy the whole time.
He was just a very grumpy
He was a
captain.
very grumpy captain.
I feel like somebody needs to sit down with him and go, "You're a very grumpy captain, Mr. Pike." And I am. I'm having a bad day. You know. So that was my favorite part. Just the uncharacteristic sulkiness of a Starfleet captain. There we go.
Yeah, I think my best just purely because it's so incongruent with the rest of Star Trek is just
Pretty much. I
Spock
can't.
smiling. Okay, the
Yeah.
bit where Spock smiles. Okay, he gets the blue vibrating leaves that are making noises, and he stops them, and he has this huge smile on his face. It's just like, oh
It's
my, what's wrong? This is so
yeah,
wrong.
what's happened to you, Spock? What has it done to
What's
you?
wrong?
Oh wait, no,
What's
he just
no?
hasn't established that his character is like a, cold logic driven, you
Yeah,
know.
he had bits later where he was nice and logical, but that smile was just like that's so wrong. Even the bits where Pike has basically decided at the end, no, you're too ugly to come back to the ship. Go away,
Yeah,
right?
that was.
Even I
Ooh.
was like, yeah, okay. Just that whole Spock smiling was it was so wrong. Even the accent I kind of got used to.
Mm.
But that
Well,
that Spock
Spock
smiling.
didn't really have much to do in the episode, really. Like, it's established that he's like, one of the first officers for sure. Um,
Well, yeah, because
But
he's what
you
in
don't even know
in
he's a science officer, really. I don't
yeah,
think.
because in TOS he is actually second in command, but he's
Hmm.
not in this. He's I don't know
That's
third in
right. Yeah,
command
because number
ish.
one is number
Number
two.
one, number one is number two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Number
Um.
one.
Yeah. That would.
Ah,
That,
I
yeah.
just figured that out.
What?
That number one. Picard does the same thing. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
man,
That's.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Kirk doesn't call anybody number one.
No, no. Kirk doesn't call anyone number one. But that's.
No.
But you're right. That's where that comes from in TNG. Is.
Ah. Well, it's taken me this long, folks, and you were here for it. Uh, that's embarrassing. Let's move on.
Yeah. Let's move on. Um. Yeah. So obviously, it being re-released, that there is the slightest suspicion it's been rebuilt with CG in certain places and a few other
Mhm.
things. So I don't think some of those effects were original.
Pretty sure they didn't have CG back in the
No,
70s.
it
Yep.
looks suspiciously CG. Um, and the titles are just a little too sharp, so it's clearly been redone. But
Yep.
it's kind of it's I
It
can
was
see why
kind
they
of an.
didn't air it, but at the same time, it actually was pretty. It was
It
a
would have
pretty
held up
classical
back then,
trick.
even. Like, I'm pretty
I
sure.
think,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
because you would have looked at that and gone, "Oh, okay, that's a show about flying through space and the crazy characters you might come across." Like there is no context around. Oh, that's Spock. He's a Vulcan. He's very logical. Oh, that's Captain Pike. I guess all captains are surly in the future. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Just
Yeah,
it's.
I feel like I mean this is something that is something that I'm very critical about in New Trek as well is that it feels like they hadn't figured out the show Bible yet, right? The exactly how all of these characters what exactly the character backgrounds are and why they are the way that they are, right? It
Yes.
didn't
Yeah.
it didn't have that. Um, it didn't feel like it was playing to that kind of set of background, even if it wasn't shown. They, you know,
Mm.
and that's kind of fine for a show that's. It's funny. I don't think with modern television we're as accepting of that anymore. Like if you think about a bad pilot now, just will never.
It
You'll
just
never
won't. Yeah.
you'll
Well,
never have a
even if
show.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, you can have a first season entire. You can have an entire first season, but then it'll stop right there. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you could have a bad first couple of episodes, but it could really pick up after that point, and people could get invested and really start enjoying the show, and then they just won't renew it.
Yeah.
Um,
No, you don't.
so,
The window you've got of allowed bad episodes in current television is so narrow,
mm, yeah.
and yet, yeah, it still doesn't explain quite why Discovery was made. But anyway, that's
No,
a pit people get into when we
hang
get
on,
towards
I gotta.
that.
Oh, the zinger right there.
uh, I hate it. Oh dear me. But yeah, we don't give shows anywhere near as much latitude now, right?
No. Well, there's just
It's
so many. That's the thing. Well, they're all vying for our attention on whatever particular platform they might happen to launch on. And, they could have a really good concept and a solid execution and a great cast. But if people don't, attach their eyeballs, then that's it. You're done. It's going to have an extremely good showing, I think.
mm,
Not just, oh, it did pretty well. It has to do outstandingly. And I'm talking like Stranger Things season 1 or 2 kind of thing, where it's just it's in the tip of everybody's tongue, and everybody's excited about the new series, and it's Game of Thrones, and it's you know those sorts of
yeah,
things.
yeah. I
Whereas
mean,
a lot of
like,
stuff that might be good just falls by the wayside.
but I think now the other problem we've got is we've got happened to Westworld. Like, the first season of Westworld is absolutely amazing. Like, it is
Mm.
probably the as a first season, it is the best first season of any television show I've ever seen. It's so well done.
In your opinion, no, but I
And
enjoyed it too. Karen and I had an absolute blast watching that,
yeah, and
and
then And then they clearly, the writers had a wonderful
Have no
first season in mind and
yeah.
really didn't have anything else in the tank,
Oh,
I'm
they want more of
afraid.
this? It's
Yeah.
like,
So I think the problem is that television's now gotten to this point where you have these amazing first seasons of things
hmm,
because there is so much pressure to have it so good out of the gate
yeah.
that there isn't an opportunity for a show to stretch into itself in the first season and develop further from there. That you
Mm,
get these shows that are the first season is staggeringly awesome, and
It's got some really good ideas, and
but that doesn't
it's
go
well
anywhere.
executed, and
It doesn't go anywhere after that.
oh yeah, exactly. It just kind of you get to season 2, and it promises great things because you're like, oh, there are all these threads and characters that I want to see what happens, and then things happen. They're not the things that you wanted to happen, or they're not great, and it just falls on its face.
Yeah, I mean
And
the
yeah,
first season of TNG is pretty rough, right?
yeah, that's because I have watched forgive me, Dave, but I have watched other podcast series about Star Trek and stuff, not specifically about episodes and things, but just in general. And a lot of people say, yeah, the first season is rough, um, or at least it's a bit bumpy, But then season 2 just takes that and just runs with it, and yeah, it starts becoming incredibly watchable. So looking forward to
Yeah,
season 2 of TNG.
we
Yes,
are we are a
in
little
the year
ways from
2025.
we're
Yep,
a little ways from any of TNG. We've only just watched the unaired pilot.
we've
We're
watched
gonna
one
we're gonna
episode.
start next week. We're gonna watch Mantrap, which is the first actual episode
Season
of Star
1,
Trek,
episode
season one,
1.
episode one, with all of the correct characters.
I don't want to.
Um,
Yeah, I wish we could do 2 episodes a night. Ah.